Another Cards Cast, 10/3/2022. Want to say hello to everyone. Hopefully everybody had a wonderful weekend. We are here to talk about an Arizona Cardinals W, or cursive W, kind of a little ziggly. Anyways, we're going to talk about the Cardinals' 26-16 win over the Panthers. We're kind of going to review how they won and what to expect next. Let's do it. So, reasons for victory. First off, the defense just balled out. The defense played fantastic. 220 yards allowed. Limited Christian McCaffrey to only 32 yards rushing. McCaffrey did go off a little bit in the air, but a lot of that was actually on that last Panthers drive where it was pure garbage time. The defense played fantastic. Batted down 9 passes from Baker Mayfield. Really, J.J. Watt was a huge factor. Zach Allen had a fantastic game. I think the corners played very well. A couple of big interceptions, one by Dennis Gardeck and one by Jalen Thompson. The defense really did play its best game by far of the season, and that is a big reason why the Cardinals got the dub. Number 2, after that tablet tossing first half, they made second half adjustments on both sides of the ball, not just on defense, but on offense. Kyler Murray and the offense played a lot better in the second half after the first half of football, went back to like the Stone Age, like the Stony Case, like Tim Rossenbach, Arizona Cardinals or Phoenix Cardinals. They weren't even Arizona Cardinals back then, if you can remember that. But the second half adjustments, they made great adjustments in the second half, and the Cardinals outscored the Panthers 23-6 after halftime. Scored 23 unanswered points to begin the second half. Had a touchdown, field goal, touchdown drive after the half. I know the defense aided a couple of their drives, but you got to say the 94-yard drive to begin the second half that the Cardinals had, even with a penalty to begin the drive, you have to say that the Cardinals really did. That might have been the turning point in the season. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I will say I think the second half adjustments were fantastic. The Cardinals just have to get off to slow starts. I mean, the slow starts, if they start slow this week against the Eagles, they're going to find themselves down 17-0 in the first quarter. And good night, Irene, most likely with that defense in front of the Eagles. Number 3, Panthers are just a bad team. Baker Mayfield is one bad game away from probably sitting on the bench, possibly for good, which is kind of sad. The Panthers might be going back to Sam Darnold. But there is a good chance that Sam Darnold, when he gets healthy, will be the guy in Carolina if Baker Mayfield does not turn it around. And, oh yeah, they're playing the 49ers next week. Good luck, Baker Mayfield. I hope you enjoy that. If you get 220 yards of offense against the Cardinals, I would love to see how you play against the 49ers, who may have the best defense in all of football. But these are the 3 keys to the Cardinals' victory. The Cardinals got a much-needed win in Carolina. I was very pessimistic going into this game. With history, thought the field might be a little wet. Thankfully, really good job with the drainage system in Carolina. The remnants of Hurricane Ian was passing through kind of the mid-Atlantic. Baltimore and Philadelphia's games actually got affected by the remnants of Hurricane Ian. Charlotte did not. It passed through on Saturday. But great job by the groundskeepers there in Charlotte. I actually think the field was in great condition. And the Cardinals, really, it was promising the second half. I know the Panthers are not a good football team, but they still have a pretty solid, at least average to potentially above average defense. And I feel like the Cardinals really did come out and really stick it to them in the second half. Played with some urgency and desperation, which was really necessary. The Cardinals needed to win that game. Now they're in a 4-way tie. Technically, they're tied for 3rd or last with Seattle if you go by division record, because the Cardinals lost to the Rams last week. But everybody in the NFC West is 2-2. Just how we drew it up, right? So, let's talk about what's next. What's next for the Cardinals, as we like to talk about after every week? Well, the Cardinals have a game against the Eagles next week, and the Eagles had a couple of offensive line injuries. I know the Eagles are the only undefeated team in the NFL. But I do think early in the game, Jacksonville actually showed if you get some pressure on Jalen Hurts, he might force some bad throws. I think you can beat the Eagles on the outside, but it's all about slowing down that fantastic defensive line of the Eagles. I do think that Trevor Lawrence last week struggled a little bit with the elements, with the 4 fumbles. But really, here's the thing. We got 2 more weeks before DeAndre Hopkins comes back. A game at Seattle in Week 6 that may be a little bit tougher than we thought it would be, but still a game, probably, believe it or not, the first game of the season. The Cardinals will probably be favored in that game in Seattle, and then they'll definitely be favored in DeAndre Hopkins' first game at home against the Saints. So really, if the Cardinals can steal a game against the Eagles, and I think they're catching the Eagles at the right time next week, they're also due to win at home. I actually proclaimed on Twitter, even though I did say tonight that the Cardinals look like a third-place team, that doesn't mean they are going to be a third-place team. And I actually do think, I'm going to say right now, I think the Cardinals can win that game on Sunday. I think it's a winnable game. I think that it's going to be, I honestly have been hearing like from the early lines that Arizona is probably going to be the side on that game, especially against the spread. Expect a very close competitive game, somewhere around 27-24 next week against the Eagles. I can't wait. We're going to be talking a lot about that game. We're going to talk a little bit about J.J. Watt tomorrow. We're going to talk about Kyler Murray. We're going to talk about slow starts. Can the Cardinals stop with the slow starts? Thankfully, this week, Carolina is too bad of a team to take advantage of an awful first half, and the Cardinals are only down 10-3 at the half, even though I wanted to pull my hair out when the Cardinals actually gave up that field goal at the end of the half. But the Cardinals have found a way to win 2 games. That was a good win against the Raiders. The Raiders are not a bad football team. I think the Panthers are a bad football team. But the Cardinals are playing the alleged best team in the NFC in Philadelphia, which they probably will finish with the best record in the NFC, just because I know the Giants are 3-1. I know the Cowboys are 3-1. But I still think the rest of the NFC East, I think the Cowboys are okay. But I think the Giants, they're 3-1 is smoke and mirrors, and we're going to find that out pretty quickly, especially because they don't have a quarterback. That's Saquon Barkley taking snaps for crying out loud. Anyways, so follow me on Twitter, Stu Drew. We're going to talk about some fun stuff. It's going to be interesting. My power rankings tomorrow. We're going to talk about that. We're going to start prepping for the Eagles, which should be a fun, exciting game. Can the Cardinals finally break the 7-game losing streak in Arizona? Can they? Come on, bring back the memories. Remember 2008 when the Cardinals beat the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl? I do. Anyways, have a good day. Bye.